I bought a 2017 Jeep Wrangler JKU Big Bear Edition with 69,500 miles. It's a 6-speed. As you can see, it has modifications. This is going to be a fun video. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Baldadonis, and I buy and sell cars as a hobby, and I bring you guys along with me, showing you the pros and cons of each vehicle I buy. I do travel videos throughout New England, and I talk about my life experiences. All right, guys, this is going to be a fun video. I'm going to talk about how I bought the Jeep. As usual, I do a fun car wash. I do a sexy shots afterwards. I do a Insta360 X4 camera drive that leads us to RGA repair shop, where I get an inspection, oil change, and we'll check everything out on the lift. Then we go to my other friend's shop where Ethan worked as a Jeep specialist. He'll talk about what to look out for in these Jeeps. And then we'll probably end it with my friend George that works for a dealership. He's been in the business for 20 plus years. And he'll tell you what to look out for as well when a Jeep comes in the dealership or from the auction, or somebody traded in the repairs that they have to do. So in the past couple of months, I've been looking for Jeeps. It didn't matter if it was a 2-door, 4-door, it didn't matter if it was an automatic or manual. It just had to appeal to me. Whatever I like visually, I will gravitate to and see what the miles are, you know, the repairs, stuff like that, and go from there. And when I seen this Jeep, this was a tough 3 weeks of negotiations, okay? It was on Facebook. Now, when I went there the first time, I gave him an offer, a cash offer, without driving the vehicle. The second time I went there, I took it for a ride, and I did not like the oversized tires, the 35, 12 and a half, 17s. I just didn't like the way the tires gripped while I was driving, okay? Brought it back. Now I'm asking the gentleman questions. He actually is selling the vehicle for his boss. His boss is too busy to talk to me. Okay, so I'm asking him the general questions. What was done to the car? Where was it serviced? When was that lift put on? You know what I'm saying? Etc. etc. The kid did not know how to answer my questions, so I got frustrated. I left. So for a few weeks, I would say, "Hey, you still get the Jeep? Will you take X amount of money for it? You still got the Jeep? Will you still take X amount of money for it?" And finally, he bit and took my offer, okay? So it was like 3 weeks of trying to buy the vehicle. So some of the upgrades are these delicious wheel and tire combination, the bumpers, the side steps, headlights, and of course the lift. Okay, I don't know exactly if it's a 2.5, 4-inch lift. I don't know, because like I said, the guy didn't talk to me. You know, so there was some information I just didn't know. But because I ran a Carfax, I got all my information on this vehicle. Let's take a look. So I will post these pictures up so you can see. 2017 Jeep Wrangler Unlimited Big Bear Edition. It came from Virginia. It did have 2 accidents at once. So it was an fender bender. Okay, hitting the front real quick and back in the rear bumper. So it was just a little beep beep. Nothing bad. It was fixed with the previous owner back in Virginia. And in 2020, the owner that I bought it from bought the vehicle up here in New Hampshire. And then he did a lot of service to it. So let's see some of it. The lift kit was installed. All fluids were changed. Glass repair, don't know what that means. That's all it says. So maybe a windshield was replaced, not sure. Front and rear differential fluid changed. Transfer case fluid changed. CV boot and axles changed. Transmission serviced. Rear brakes replaced. Front brakes replaced. Serpentine belt replaced. Radiator replaced. Oil change. Power steering fluid flushed. Cabin air filter. 4-wheel alignment, and then it got new rotors, pads, and calipers. Axle seals, parking brake adjusted, new running boards installed. So as you can see, it was well maintained. So what is a Big Bear Edition? Well, you get the stock wheels that are all blacked out. You get the Wrangler decal on the hood. You get the map on the hood that shows that it was the John Bold Trail, and that's at Big Bear, California. The grille is flat black. Rubicon steel rock rails. Taillight guides. And the seats are slightly different with mesh inserted. And then you get this gravity crystal painted bumper caps, vents, and the door handles. Okay, so when I got it, when I was driving it, I didn't like the tires. I even told the person that I was buying the vehicle from, the first thing I'm gonna do is change these tires. I don't like them. To find out that the tires were at 40 PSI. I dropped it down to 30 PSI. And it rides so much better. I am very happy with the ride at the moment. Okay, so this is where some of the fun parts of the video is gonna happen. We're gonna do a quick car wash, so let's take a look. Okay, so now we're gonna take the Insta360 X4 camera, have a fun drive, go into RGA, where I get my car inspected, oil change, we'll put up on the left, and we'll check everything out. So let's take a look. as you can see in the video, one of the axle seals had a leak. That's what we were cleaning up. Now, they were replaced. So I'm hoping it was just old leftover residue. We will take a look at that in the next week or two and see if there's anything coming out of that. And if something is still leaking, I will bring it to the repair shop that had it fixed and see if I can get it done for free. All right, so now we're gonna take it to Live Free and Drive with my friend Ethan. He used to work for a performance Jeep shop. So he's gonna talk about what to look out for. So let's take a look.
Hey guys, I just want to give you a little bit of a rundown here on these Jeep Wranglers that Mike here has gotten and been doing a little bit of stuff with. This one specifically is 2017. It's basically the same Jeep from 2007 all the way up until 2018. The only thing that changed was 2012 was a slight redesign, primarily cosmetic, different steering wheel, different radio, some interior things. The biggest thing was that it changed from the 3.8 liter V6 to the 3.6 liter Pentastar V6. Easiest way to tell: oil filter. It's got an engine cover on the top on the 3.6, and there's an oil filter that actually goes underneath the intake, which is actually really common for failure on these. Whether it's over tightening at whoever's doing the oil changes, or just fails over time, it'll actually fill the whole valley underneath the intake with engine oil, which then travels down the back, dumps all over the transmission, and it looks like you've got like a rear main seal leak, which if any of you guys have dealt with stuff like that, you know that one's pricey. But the oil coolers on these are pretty simple to do, not super expensive in the grand scheme of things. The only other kind of common thing is the radiators. Just not that it's a notorious failure point, but if you've got a coolant leak, it's more than likely the radiator. Some interesting things about Jeep, you know, everybody has seen the Jeep Wave, you know, cruising along. Hey, that actually dates all the way back to just after World War II. It started because the government was trying to unload a bunch of extra Willys Jeeps from the war that they didn't need anymore, and the only civilians that were crazy enough to buy it were the veterans. So they bought it, they're driving around, tooling around town, and they'd wave to each other with a V for victory because of the defeat in Europe, or our victory in Europe and Japan, and then just passed on from there, which is where the Jeep Wave to this day is still 2 fingers up V on the steering wheel. Just, you know, I thought that'd be kind of interesting to share. A little bit of history still going with these Jeeps even to this day. Other than that, there's not really a whole lot to watch out for these. There are a bunch of things online that you can find that say are common failure points. I haven't seen a lot of them. Not to say it doesn't happen, but I haven't seen any, and I've been working on these for a number of years at this point. Other than that, pretty solid vehicles. Personally, I would say 2012 or newer, but that's just my own preference. In general, they're not bad. They're pretty reliable. Yeah, kind of the quick and dirty lowdown on these Wranglers.
Ethan, thank you very much. Now, I have a friend named George that's been in the car business for over 20 years. This video clip is a little bit of the last clip because it's the same issues, but from a dealership perspective, okay? It's a little bit noisy. We're outside, and unfortunately, it's a little too windy, but we're gonna see what George has to say. So let's take a look.
Hi everybody, my name is George. I've been in the automotive business over 20 years, and in my 30 years, sold a tremendous amount of Jeep Wranglers. So we're going to take a few minutes today to kind of go over everything for the common problems that we see that dealers typically have to fix when we get these new Jeeps in. So, come on over. One of the first problems that we typically see in the Jeep Wranglers that we notice is the oil filter housing. The oil filter housing is located under the cover here, right by the intake. Problem is, this all has to come apart. The intake has to come off, and the oil filter housing is typically upgraded to an aluminum filter versus the plastic filter that they come with from the factory. The plastic doesn't hold up as well to the different changes in temperature of the motor and typically cracks under stress. Another common problem that these Jeeps have is the gas tank is protected by a skid plate. So the skid plate is located on the passenger side towards the rear half of the vehicle. And because of New England and all the lovely weather and salt that we use on the roads, it typically wipes those out and they have to be replaced because it is protecting your gas tank and in most part also holding it up. One of the last, I think, common problems that we see on these Jeeps is in the front end, there is a shock that can typically wear out on the front And at typical highway speeds, if you're hitting bumps as far as bridges and everything, you know, when the bridges connect, the compression will send it into a wobble. And sadly enough, they've come up with a term called the death wobble for these things. So it's a pretty common problem on these. So if you ever experience that on the highway, I would suggest maybe checking out that front shock and seeing if it's worn out, because that'll typically cause that problem a lot more. I have seen it even with good shocks, but I do know the wearing out of the shock makes a big difference. But I mean, as far as the Jeep stuff, that's pretty much it. The rear shackles of the Jeep where the shocks mount, I know in some of the older models they used to rot out, but I believe Jeep and these newer models have kind of figured that out, and they're pretty clean. But it's typically up by the rear end, by the rear differential, where the top of the shocks mount. Those are the typical concerns that a dealer would look at when they come in, and that's what we've been doing to get prepared for sale.
Okay, George, thank you very much as well. Now that we're getting through the video, what I like and what I do not like about the vehicle. What I do like about it is everything. I love Jeeps. The top comes off. That's number one, right? That's pretty much the reason why you buy a Jeep. The top's coming off. 4x4, as always, it's awesome vehicle for 4x4. The low miles with 69,500 miles, that's a plus. It does drive very well for what it is with these size tires. Now, I did notice that it has a little bit of play in it, and Ethan suggested that I go with a thicker bar up front, and that might be something I'll be interested in. Other people love it. No matter where I go, people stare at the Jeep, they love it, and I like the attention. The Alpine stereo cranks. I mean, cranks. I'm at home driving this truck, all right? It's comfortable. I get the roof off. I'm listening to my jams. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. And it comes with the soft top from the factory. Today was the first day I got gas after 3 weeks. $50, filled up the tank. Not bad. Okay, what I do not like. One, I don't like the transmission. I'm not sure if the previous owner was not that good at driving a stick. I don't know if it's me. I think it's the weakest point of the Jeep. It's kind of sloppy. It feels weak. That's just me. The 35s, driving on a daily driver, if you're okay with short trips driving it every day, that's cool. Someone like myself that's going to drive all the time, everywhere, I would probably do smaller tires, but it looks so good the way it is. And I bought some new cars, so it's not going to be my daily driver. So, you know, also with that big 35-inch tire on the back, I can feel over bumps. It just feels like it wants to fall off. Even though it's not, it just feels heavy. I don't like that. So that's the conclusion, guys. I mean, I really enjoy Jeeps. I love this particular Jeep. I mean, for what it is, I love it. All right? I love it. Simple as that. I love the Jeep. And upcoming videos with the Jeep I may do before I sell it is because I do live in New England. Before the frame starts to get rusty, I might do a protection film on it, so you're gonna see what it looks like before and after, like a fluid film type of protection. And I got my 2008 BMW 535xi Sport Package. I bought from the second owner just 2 weeks ago, and then I bought a 2004 BMW 330 convertible. That's an M Sport 6-speed, and I bought that from the second owner as well. She had it for 18 years and only went to BMW for all her services. And what else? I have the young man Dave that had his Corvair. He bought another classic car. We'll be doing that video. And then my friend Steve, He has his MG that he's been restoring, and we're going to do a recap on what's been going on with that car. And then my travel videos throughout New England, so there's plenty of videos coming up. All right, so until the next video, everybody, Baldadonis out.